Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strang coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. I'll make an adjustment here. There we go. And as the thumbnail shows, it's a mystery. And I just happened to put everything inside of this Canadian IMP bag from the ration that I reviewed last week. So I decided I'm going to do a little something fun. I put together from one country, with the exception of one item, stuff that I had gotten as single items or it's extras in a ration. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling things out. So this is, there's Elsie, there's spicy tuna rolls here. Thanks for dropping in. I think you might remember way back when I opened the box up that had these in here. There's Mama Styles in here. Thanks for dropping in. So this is a drink mix. And here is some freeze-dried fruit. I happen to have gotten two of these. One feels a little more crushed than the other. Then I have an herbal tea. I have another alternative. There's Art and or Nina dropping that super chat. That's much appreciated. Thanks for dropping in, saying hi to everybody. So I got two different ones. I think one of these I tried before, one I haven't, or I've had it before in the past. So I just threw both in there. I'll figure out which one. Then I got some jam here. Looks a little beat up. So this is the main entree. This is actually one I had not had before. I'm looking forward to digging into it. The only item that's not from the country that all these other items come from, these Russian crackers. I didn't have any more of the crackers that would be appropriate, so I just pulled them Russian crackers out. And then the last thing that pulled out was a busted up dark chocolate bar. This is just a little staining from something else. This thing did not leak at all. So you got an idea where these things are from? Okay, there's another hint. I'm using the delicious mug. Oh, that is. These are all Polish except for these crackers. These are Russian crackers. But everything else in here is Polish. I'm going to move a few things aside. So I'm going to mix up this isotonic drink. This is from a newer Polish ration. And I'm going to dump it into my drinking jar. This normally would be prepared in this pouch, but for the purposes of this, I poured the powder into my drinking jar. There's my crasher in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Now this is mixing fairly well. I'll give another stir later. This one here is a citrus flavored herbal tea. And this one is lemon. It specifies lemon. So this could be just a citrus blend. This one sounds more like larger granules, where this one sounds like it's got more of a powder. So which one of these goes into... Yep. Well, it's a Ration mashup, but it's all Polish except for the Russian crackers, because I had eaten the rest of all those Polish crackers after I did that comparison video. I just had to chow them all down. Yeah, maybe I'll go with this one. These are still pretty large granules as opposed to the other drink powder. But it looks like a lot of it got crushed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this thing. And I'm going to go put this in the water on the stove to boil up. Then I'll bring back the kettle to fill my mug. And I just took the kettle back into the kitchen. Well, today I went to the Eid prayer, which is be the second holiday that Muslims have, this roughly 2 months after the end of Ramadan. Well, that's all mixed up. Of course, Father's Day is meaningless to me since I don't have my dad around. So both of these are the same, but one feels like it's more crushed. So I will open this one here that is not so crushed up. I just have a plastic bag that I'm putting all the trash in off to the side, because I obviously don't want to use my ration bag as a trash bag, because those IMP bags are good solid bags. I'm opening up the crackers. This is the last pack of these I have left. I've been eating these. These are very fresh. They travel very well. There are a few broken ones, but they're very good crackers. Dribble a little bit of the jam there. It's a 60% cacao bar. That's I've been storing this in my fridge. And then when my fridge crapped out, I took it out and found another, at least a relatively cool place here to store it. So we've got a little unwanted heat stress. But I'm okay with that. Giving my drink another stir. That's good to go. Yep. That is right. Claude said that's right. And Ibrahim is how the name Abraham is said in Arabic. And so for those who are able to do so, they would acquire an animal free of blemish and slaughter it in a specific manner, pronounce God's name over it, and then butcher it, divide the meat 3 ways. 1/3 of it for the person's own family, 1/3 for some other not so close relatives, and then another 1/3 to give to someone in need. So that's basically how that works. Well, I am going to go get the entree out of the pot and we'll bring it in to see what that looks like. I'm back. Let's see how well this opens. Oh, it didn't quite rip as I expected, but I'll just have to take the slow route, I suppose. There we go. This is chicken. And I see corn in here. Kind of like a chicken stew. And there's some beans in here. I just might dump this out of here. Some pretty good sized chunk of chicken. Claude dropping that super chat. Thanks for doing that. That's much appreciated. Well, I have given it a few minutes to cool down as I was slowly opening it. And I'm breaking up some of the larger chicken chunks. As old Smokey says, down the hatch. The corn has a bit of a bite to it still. So it's not too soft. And the beans are also not too soft. They still have a bit of firmness. But they're not overcooked. So this is a good one. It doesn't taste like it's got an excessive amount of salt. It could probably use a little black pepper, but I'm just going to eat this straight up as it is because it's just that good. And there's a multi-magnum in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going all Polish tonight, except for the Russian crackers. I had eaten all of those Polish crackers that I got from Delicious. They arrived before Ramadan ended, so I saved them till after Ramadan. And then after I finished shooting that video, as it was uploading, I was chowing down on the rest of those. And I was not able to get any more of the Polish special biscuits before I did this, so I just went with the Russian crackers. That tastes like a really nice, it's a thick jam. Nice raspberry flavor. Beth is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping in. I'm eating all Polish food, different ration items that I've acquired over time. But since I don't have any Polish crackers, I'm going with Russian. Although I would have really enjoyed the caraway of the SR1 or the SR2 Polish crackers. Got freeze-dried fruit, looks like strawberries and bananas, maybe coconut. No. There's Gil Camp Patton Family Compound in the house. Thanks for dropping in. No, Polish food is not super spicy, but when it's well done, it's flavorful. There's not much that's really bland unless you just don't put any seasoning in it. Sure, you can find some spicy kielbasa, And you might find some spicy bigos, but for the most part, it's not too spicy. But with a good balance of herbs and spices, made by someone who knows what they're doing, it's just good stuff. At my mosque, we're hoping to have an international food fair sometime this summer. And I am considering doing pierogi. I would cheat and buy store-bought. I would get a bunch of the Mrs. T's pierogis. Or I would do salata miseria, which is a Polish cucumber salad. Or both, if I can do some of it ahead of time. Of course, with the pierogi already being made, all I have to do is just partially thaw them out, throw them in some boiling water, and cook them. Shake some, or put some butter on them, and then serve them up. I'm going to put some of this on one of these crackers just for the heck of it. Gives it a little crunch. I'm going to take a taste of this drink. It tastes kind of like a lemonade. It's not too sweet. And although it's an isotonic drink, you really don't taste all the extra nutrients that are put in there. So it's a nice one. I've got this. This is the citrus tea. It has a bit more of a complex flavor than just straight up lemon. There might be a bit of orange, there might be a bit of lime. I just didn't take the time to try to translate all of it. Dip the cracker in that sauce. This is some good stuff. At the place where we had the Eid prayer today, there are probably 500 or so people in there. So it's a good turnout. The best part is seeing all these little kids all dressed up, looking so dang cute. Nation Emery finds in the house. Oh, haven't had a fresh homemade pierogi in years. But with everything else that's going on, and the fact that my right knee is getting bad where it's harder for me to stand for a long period of time, I would still have to have help making the dough, rolling it out, and then cooking the potatoes, and then filling and forming the individual pierogi. I figured I'm just going to cheat. But the cilantro miseria is a much easier thing to make. Slice a bunch of cucumbers really thin, put them in a bowl with a crap ton of salt. Gonna spread the salt around through them. Let them sit for at least a half hour, maybe longer if you're doing a larger batch of it. And then you drain off all the liquid that accumulates. Then add apple cider vinegar and olive oil. And if you want green onion or red onions, I like red onions in it, pepper, and some dillweed. And then mix it up, call it done. I could do that a day ahead, and although the olive oil and the dressing would probably thicken up a bit, once I take it out of the fridge and then stir it up, it would be fine. But it would be something different. For those coming in late, I just pulled together a bunch of Polish items except for the crackers. I ate up all those Polish crackers I had, so I pulled out some Russian ones. The chocolate bar is all broken up. It got a little heat stress from when my fridge crapped out, and so I pulled it out and stuck it in a place that's hidden but really close to where my air conditioner pumps out the cool air, so it wouldn't get too hot. But yeah, I'm definitely thankful to have that new fridge. It's a little bigger than the old one, but I'm definitely happy to have it. But this is still going to be a good chocolate bar. Got the strawberry flavor in this freeze-dried fruit is kind of permeating the rest of it. Nope, that bit was pineapple. It's already starting to absorb the humidity in the air. But it's still good. DeCarlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going all Polish except for the crackers. I was not able to get any more of the Polish crackers after I chowed down on all those other ones after I did that comparison video. The new ones, the SU3 and SU4, I really like the flavor of those. And then those other ones, that delicious scent, those are also very good too. But this chicken with the corn and the beans, very nicely done. And if you're curious about why my hands look the way they do, this is 2 different tones of henna. This is applied to me Friday morning or midday Friday, just before the Friday prayer started. I was in there part of the morning doing some events, prep work for last night's dinner we had. So there was a woman doing henna, and she did these different patterns. The red, this, I didn't have it as, she did my left hand first, then she did my right, so I needed to leave it on my right hand longer before I washed the paste off, but you know, after the prayer was done, you know, I did wait a little while, but then I went back at it doing stuff. Someone brought me some lunch because we didn't serve lunch yesterday or Friday. A lot of people were fasting Friday as well as yesterday, because you know, day of Arafah is, although not a mandatory fasting day for Muslims, it's very, very rich in heavenly reward for doing it. So we had dinner at the mosque yesterday, and I helped out with that. Yeah, and there are different patterns, some free-handed, some learn specific patterns like these. And several years ago, I watched a video of a henna artist doing it on the heads of bald women who have been going through chemo, and you know how what that does, it makes you lose all of your hair everywhere in your body. So this henna artist would do these designs on these bald heads, and then when the woman sees it, when it's completed, you know, her face just lights up. That's referred to as the henna crown. And the women who had it done said in an interview after that having it done made them feel like they had their sense of beauty back, you know, their sense of, you know, womanhood back by having something beautiful on their head. In India, it's very common for a bride to have henna put on their feet as well as the hands. But that's done elsewhere too. I wear socks all the time, even in the heat of summer, because I got to protect my feet from sunburn. Ooh, that sounds good, Elsie. I'm surprised CR hasn't showed up yet. You know how he is when it comes to food talk. I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of this chocolate bar. Who knows, maybe he's hanging out with his dad if his dad is still alive. Joe of Garden State Gardener and Grow Big TV canceled the Sunday Funday stream because he just wanted to spend some time with his son, who is still dealing with the after effects of his cancer. Yeah, he still has some ongoing health issues, but that kid graduated. His school had 8th grade graduation, so he went through the 8th grade graduation, and he's a fighter. He's got that will to live, and he's trying to give that cancer the shove off. Plus, he's been doing a heck of a lot of Uber driving. His main job is either about to end or has just ended. So he's looking for another main job. Uber is just his side hustle, along with what he gets from YouTube earnings. Yeah, I know people who have issues with cold feet even in the summer. So they probably wear socks all the time for that. Whereas in the daytime, I wear socks because I want to keep my feet from getting sunburned, and it's more comfortable when I'm wearing sandals or other shoes with socks than barefoot. I like putting this on the crackers, gives it a little extra crunch. And of course, I like dipping the crackers in the sauce. Most of these items came from Nicholas Glow, the guy who has the Killing Zombies channel. So I think the last time I bought a box of stuff from him, I took him for all the Polish stuff he had. Of course, that was before I got the box from Delicious with this mug and the different flavors of the Polish crackers. He's probably pretty busy. That's probably just, the way life goes. Yep, these bits are not as crunchy since they've been sitting out here. Apple pieces are all covered in strawberry dust. That's why they're not recognizable as apple pieces. But it's still good. This other pack that feels like it's more crushed up might get taken on a future camping trip. I think that's what I'll do with that. And then if I'm doing, say, like oatmeal for my breakfast, I'll put that fruit in the bowl with the oatmeal before adding the boiling water. Got up to 92 here today. Originally, we were supposed to get up to 98, but we only got up to 92, and I'm fine with that. And tomorrow, they say we were supposed to get up to 97. Whether that holds true or not, I guess I'll see. But the highs are on a bit of a roller coaster because one day next week, God, I had to get that focus back. One day next week, we're only supposed to have a high of 73. It's like 90 before, then high 80s after that. So, but the lows are in the 60s and 70s at night. So we are getting into the heat here. So my city has asked people to cut back on lawn watering. And another reason is because we have very, very high nitrate and nitrate levels and high levels of other stuff like that. And they say that people watering their lawns, if they put any kind of chemicals down, fertilizers, pesticides, weed killers, things like that, that gets into the storm sewers or somehow makes its way into the rivers where our city gets its water. We get water from two rivers, the Des Moines River and the Raccoon River. And so, in both of those pollutant levels are pretty darn high. And it takes a very expensive process to deal with it to make the water safe to drink. Now, of course, a lot of that stuff is applied to farm fields. And of course, you got manure spills, another runoff. It adds to it, so that's why I don't fish in the river down here, because it's just too nasty. And of course, last year the river levels was so low where I was wanting to fish, you couldn't get down to the water because of all the crap that's along the bank. So it just would not have been easy to fish there. Plus, I'm not sure I'd want to eat anything that I would catch out of that. So if I fish the river, I want to be away from the city. Ampos is here. Thanks for dropping in. I pulled out all of my Polish items, except for the crackers. I got Russian crackers. After I did that Polish cracker comparison video, I just chowed down on the rest of those crackers. I just couldn't hold back. So I got a chicken stew here, kind of like a pulled chicken with kidney beans and corn. And I got the raspberry jam. Got the freeze-dried fruit, which is already absorbing the humidity from the air, but I don't care. Then I got a citrus tea and a lemonade flavored isotonic drink. And Shadow Scout Sweet is here. Thanks for dropping in. It's Monday morning for him and Folks because they're on the other side of the pond. They're one time zone apart from each other. These crackers are good dipping in this thick jam. These were shipped from Kazakhstan. It took a little while to get here, but the guy packed them very, very well, and he pulled the freshest ones. These do not taste like they've been around 10 years, so these are very good crackers. I really enjoy these crackers when they're fresh. I've got freeze-dried fruit. Of course, the strawberry color takes over everything else. And that particular piece of strawberry is very tart, but I'm okay with that because sometimes that's what you get with a strawberry. Well, he's a shadow. You don't see him. Sorry, shadow, I had to. These are good for putting this stew on. Trying to get a bean on there too. Well, I'm glad you liked it. And this Polish chocolate I had stored it in my fridge. It took some heat stress when my old fridge crapped out, and then I took it out, found another place to stick it, and try to keep it cool. Because the inside of my fridge was getting hot. But this past Monday, I got a new one. It's a little bit bigger than the old one, so it's more storage for me, and I like that. Of course, the real kick in the dupa is having to throw away all the stuff that I had accumulated in my freezer. I had some meats that I've been holding on to for a while. I had several blocks of butter in there. Yeah, I saved meat fat that I had acquired from cooking beef, bacon, and other fatty meats. I'd store that in the freezer. So there was a lot I had to toss out. But I kept ice packs in there. The, the kind that you can either buy or you get when you buy frozen food online and they ship it to you with one of those ice packs. Yeah, I keep those. Oh, it is. In fact, that's the reason why I saved it, because I would rather cook with that than oil. And the last time I seasoned my cast iron pot with a lid, I used beef bacon fat. And now that I have another cast iron piece, that oval skillet that I found in a thrift store, I'm going to cook up the latest pack of beef bacon that I got. I'm going to save that fat, and then I'm going to use that to season that skillet. Yeah, I like cooking cut up potatoes in the meat fat. I like cooking eggs in it. I think it just gives it a little bit more flavor. You know, that's a resource that is worth saving. So over time, I will replace what I had built up. And, I keep the water bottles filled with water at the back of the fridge on the top shelf. I set my fridge to the lowest temp it'll go, and it works both the fridge and the freezer. So on the top shelf of the fridge, anything in the back will freeze solid. And so if my power goes out, they act as ice packs to keep the stuff colder longer. That's okay. Thanks for dropping in. There will be another time. Well, last week I said that if we were going to have an event at my mosque next Sunday, I would not stream. Well, it looks like it's going to be on Saturday instead of Sunday. So that means I will be streaming on Sunday. I'll have to decide what I'm going to do, but I got a few choices. There's Diana here. Thanks for dropping in. I pulled all of my Polish items out of my ration box. With the exception of these crackers. I ate all the Polish crackers I had after doing that comparison video, so these Russian ones are filling in. But I had a Polish chicken stew with kidney beans and corn, and I'm about to finish that off. I got raspberry jam. And this is a lemonade flavored isotonic drink. Which is really good. Yeah, this chocolate, even though it took some heat stress when my previous fridge died, it handled up very well. Now, these look like hardtack, but they are not as hard. They still break fairly easy. But considering the distance of travel between where they were shipped from and me, I'm surprised they held up as well as they did. But these work well with this jam. Now this is 60% cacao chocolate. And I like dark chocolate. So 60 or 70% cacao, that's kind of my sweet spot, if you'll pardon the pun. In my delicious mug, I got the citrus herbal tea. It's more of a complex citrus flavor than this one here. I brought both of these out. Obviously not gonna make both of these tonight, but I brought them both out. And of course, this being lemon flavored. It just sounded good to me. And also for those joining in late, these colors, this black and rose color you see on my hands, that's 2 different tones of henna that was applied Friday. So I haven't had anyone do this on my hands for quite some time, so had the opportunity to get it done, so I did. Kind of a celebratory thing, you know, just for fun. Actually, Gil of Camp Patton Family Compound got a hold of some of that. His wife turned him on to it. I have never tried anything like that, but I do want to try some chocolate bars that have more cacao in them than even the 70% ones that I have had. I think some French rations have had the 70% ones. Plus, I bought them in the stores. But yeah, I really like dark chocolate. Oh, Mike, that's okay. I'll take all that dark chocolate you ever find. Good, that thing is now empty. There's Shadow's going to get his coffee. I still like milk chocolate, but ever since I first tried dark chocolate, ooh, that's a raspberry. That's not a strawberry. That's a raspberry. Now that would explain why that other piece is so tart. But yeah, I like dark chocolate. But I was given some milk chocolate candies after I walked out of the building where the Eid prayer was located. There's a kid and his dad handing him out, so I was given a few pieces. Well, I walked to a bus stop and I had to eat some clock before the next bus would come by there, so yeah, this is freeze dried. So there's bits of apple, strawberry, there's pineapple, raspberry, and some banana. Yeah, chocolate and coffee do go really well together. And you can find chocolate coffee candies. And in some U.S. rations, you will get what's called the Mocha First Strike bar. That has coffee in it. There's also the Mocha Dessert bar. That also has coffee in it. And then you get the caffeinated pudding. That has caffeine in it. I don't know if they actually put coffee in it. I'd have to see the ingredients on that one, but it's a chocolate pudding that has caffeine added to it, and I'm guessing it might be from coffee, but I don't know. I have another pack of this freeze-dried fruit, but this pack is a little flatter, so I think these pieces got crushed more. So I'm thinking I will save these for a future camping trip. And then if I'm doing my own breakfast, I'll make some oatmeal and then throw that in there. You don't remember what looks like? Now keep checking my chat because one time I wasn't seeing anything for a while, but you guys have been commenting, but all of a sudden it just exploded. It all came at once. So I keep checking it just to make sure that I'm seeing your comments, even though I set it to all comments. Yeah, maybe we might have to look into a little something. Now, there are places and people who know how to deal with that kind of thing. I had clients who had dementia. There's Tim Riley in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Another Iowan. Yep, all Polish items except for the crackers because I had already eaten all those Polish crackers after I did that comparison video. I couldn't help myself. I had a Polish chicken stew with corn and kidney beans. I had some raspberry jam. Got the freeze-dried fruit. Got a lemonade flavored isotonic drink. Looks like a little powder had settled, so I just gave it a bit of a mix. And then I got a citrus herbal tea in the delicious mug. Well, not a whole lot was done. I got my ceiling and one wall repaired and then painted. And of course, more recently I had my old fridge crap out, so another one was brought up. And apparently the apartment management forgot to tell those guys that they had to haul the old one out first. So they got the new one up here, said, there's a old one that's got to be taken down. So they put the new one in the hall, then took the old one down, put it in their truck, and then wiggled the new one into place. So this one's a little bit bigger. So that means I have a little bit more storage capacity. And I have use of all three shelves in the doors. The old fridge, the little bar that goes across the shelf to keep things from falling out, that was missing in the old fridge. And in this new one, instead of having two drawers in the bottom, it just has one big drawer. And the bottom shelf is glass. So I don't have to worry about it cracking from, the old one, the bottom shelf above the drawers was cracked, and I was afraid it was going to split and completely break. So I tried not to put much weight on it. But I'm doing the same thing with this one as I did before. Set it as low as it'll go. And then I have bottles of water in the back of the top shelf of the fridge. And I allow them to freeze so that should my power go out next time, those frozen water bottles will act like ice packs. No, that never happened. What happened with that was I kept dropping hints for all the time that apartment was vacant that it would be a super easy move. So what they did, without telling me first or saying anything about it at all, they just got someone else in there. And then another one that I was going to take over, well, they kept going back and forth about thinking that I wouldn't be paying rent. I wouldn't be able to make any rent payments at all, even though my income will not stop. So they just decide that it's just easier, that, oh, I guess we don't have to kick you out right now. We can stay there. So I signed a year lease. So I'm putting up with the old carpet. The flood killed my ceiling fan, but the light works. Yeah, left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. I neither know what the brain is doing. So I asked them about replacing the ceiling fan since that was here originally, and I really want to have the ceiling fan. Nope. As long as the light still works, that's staying put. But I'm still curious whether, I am curious whether or not they would get anything out of the idiot who used to live above me. After all, that bit of stupidity affected the apartment below me. And she had to have her living room floor replaced. Because it is different. It's that fake wood stuff that's put down over some kind of other pad instead of the carpet like I have. So it just completely warped those floor tiles. And I don't know what I'm pretty sure that's what they had to do upstairs to get that one back into shape so someone else could move in. So someone else is living in there now. Yeah, when they renovated these apartments in 2020 and 21, they did not kick everybody out of the building in order to do them all at once. They did it as an apartment emptied out. So they put these floor tiles down. They replaced the ceiling fans with just your basic ceiling light fixture. Yeah, that person did get evicted. Another thing they didn't do anything about was when a couple of painters came in to put primer and paint on my ceiling and the one wall that had to be done, the wall that surrounds my slider. Yeah, I had a glass bottle on my countertop and she bumped it and broke it. I never got anything for that. And I told the management about it. They're not going to do squat about that. So I guess that one's on me. No. And it's what similar type stuff is what we pulled up off of the floor in the basement of my mosque, and that stuff was so hard to get up. They used a glue that was so hard to get up, but we found a solution. Spray dish soap on it, let it sit for a while, and that actually broke that stuff up and made it easier to scrape up with putty knives. Yeah, that was a fun project, but we got it done. But we have real ceramic tiles on the floor down there now. I had to have the drywall redone and the ceiling and a chunk had to be replaced in the wall that surrounds my slider. Yeah, I'm surprised that, the light of the ceiling fans still work even though the fan itself doesn't. But I keep wanting to pull that chain to get the fan going, but nope. And another fan that I have elsewhere to help move air towards my bedroom, that one is toast too. But I like to go ahead and throw it away, but I really can't get rid of stuff that's not salvageable until after this whole insurance process is complete. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, they're still after receipts for anything that's not salvageable, even if it's something I've had for a long time. But when I sent some pictures, said this is a gift. I have no idea the value. I've had it since this year, or this is a dumpster dive find. Well, actually, it's hanging on the side of a dumpster. No, a wool coat. Yeah, I found this this year. So how am I supposed to have a receipt for that? And if I claim something that I made, like 2 wood tables that I have in here, that I built in shop classes back in the 80s, am I supposed to prove that besides pictures? I mean, yeah, they say a picture proves ownership, but I'm still concerned that someone is going to say that because I don't have a receipt for it, that I don't own it. Some things just got a bunch of the white crap from the ceiling on them, and that's easily cleaned off. Like those wood tables, plus I had stuff on them that would have covered them anyway. But at least the way I store a lot of stuff in buckets, that saved most of my food that I have stored up. I have boxes of tea bags that were not inside of a hard container. So those are toast. But I've had those for several years. I don't remember what I paid for them. But the buckets definitely did do their job of keeping things safe. Of course, a lot of the stuff that I have in there is in a bag like this. You know, Mylar bag. Of course, once I fill a bucket, I put the smack down on that lid to make sure it's not going to pop off without one of those bucket wrenches. So the way I prep has definitely worked. They did toss out the box that my Opus power station came in, but fortunately I got the cables out of there, and I keep those in a pocket that's on one side of a solar panel. That is King Poobah in the house. He is the husband of Courtney of Wide Family Farm, and she also helps run Grow Big TV. But both of them do videos for Wide Family Farm, and he's a pepperhead, as you can tell by his profile picture. Nope, that's okay. Life happens. You got your garden going. You got, with school being out, you got the kid at home. Plus, you got all your feathered friends. Yep. Unfortunately, because I had stuff stored on my deck for so long, when the workers basically nearly emptied out my living room of everything, they left a few things along one wall, but everything else got moved around. I just didn't get stuff planted, and it got so late, so I figured, well, I'm just going to have to take a pass on it this year. But I will go for it again next year. I did get a new blind that goes over my slider. But they ordered the wrong length of the slats because it doesn't go all the way down, but I don't care because it means my cat can't run through them to try to knock them down. Yep. I definitely want to plant those those pink dandelion seeds. I really want to see what those will look like in person. And of course, I was going to try that watermelon radish. Oop, brief disconnect, sorry about that. We've had a few events at the mosque that I always help out with that, and I'm on the White Eagle powwow committee, so next week we'll have a meeting. We'll do some more discussions and other stuff to get ready for this year's powwow, which will take place in September. And a couple of those items that I showed in my shopping haul are going to be for kids' crafts. Those plastic cups will be used for rinsing paintbrushes. When I saw those on the discount shelf, that is a thought that immediately came to mind, so I grabbed them. Plus, they would also have been a good prep item for use here if I had to severely restrict water usage and have to go to disposable stuff. But I'm running out of places to put all this stuff. I wish I could afford a storage unit and then have someone with a truck to take a lot of my preps out of here so I could have some off site in case something happened here. There are not any storage units or storage facilities that are close to bus stops. And with some of my heavier buckets that have my pastas, rice, and beans and things like that that are heavy, that would be a real bugger to try to haul one of those in a bus one at a time. That's one of the drawbacks of not being able to drive. In other words, I can't go out and play in the woods anytime I want. So anytime I want to do that, I got to score a ride from someone who is also wanting to do the same thing. Okay. Yep, gotta fuel up for the morning. Yeah, this delicious mug, I think it might be slightly bigger than my Foreign MRE mug. But this is a really cool thing that he had made up. And he sent a few of these out to people, and it's really cool to have one of these. And to have a Polish drink in it, that makes it better. So polish that off. Yeah, that was a really good meal. I'm glad I had almost everything Polish to do this. Now, next week, I will be streaming because the event that I thought was going to be on next Sunday is actually going to be Saturday. So I will miss, or I'm pretty sure I will miss Smokey's stream if he streams next Saturday. But I've been missing several of his lately because I've been busy on Saturdays. I didn't get home last night till about 11:15 because I stayed and helped clean up, and then one of the guys at my mosque gave me a ride home. Yeah, buses don't run as late on Saturdays. Yep, it is 8:58 here. So next Sunday I will be streaming. I just have to decide which ration to pull out. I will pull out a ration. I need to get some more side items to do, to have along with some of the other mains that I have. I got a newer low sodium emery that Sapaco does. I got the seafood chowder MCW. I got a couple others in there. I got a Norwegian Arctic field ration. So I got a few choices. But I will toss a community post up when I do make a decision on what I'm going to bring out next Sunday. So since I've eaten everything here that I chose to bring out, I may go ahead and call this one done. I hope it was enjoyable for you all to see this. Maybe get a hold of some of these items yourselves to try. Again, I want to thank Art, Nina, and Claude for dropping those super chats earlier. That's much appreciated. I definitely need to get my watch time back up since I haven't been doing a lot of streaming. I haven't been able to until last Sunday. I was really wanted to start streaming right after Ramadan, but because of the stupid flood, I couldn't do that. So I got this setup going for now. But at least I can do this. So I hope you do join me next week for whatever I pull out. And thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.